Towards the end of last year there was big news in the film photography world, the launch of a brand new colour film from Harman. The select few YouTubers were sent pre-launch rolls to try out and make videos about, ready for the launch day on the 1st of December. I had emails from one of my regular film suppliers on that day saying they had rolls of the new film in stock, but by the time I tried to order some a couple of days later they had already sold out. The new film was a trial version, with the plan from Harman being that they would tweak, adjust and develop the formula using the funds raised from sales of the trial version until they perfected the film. From this I assumed that, having missed out on getting my hands on some of the film, I would have to wait until the final version was released. Fast forward to March 2024, I went to the photography show at the NEC and visited the Harman stand, where they had rolls of the new film in stock. I guess it would make sense that they'd run another batch of the trial film, but this was the first time I'd seen any that I could get my hands on. Obviously I bought myself a couple of rolls of the new film, Harman Phoenix. In fact, I bought a gift pack containing the 2 rolls, a badge or 2, some stickers, a postcard, a bag, and of course a mug for my coffee. Harman are probably better known as the manufacturers of Ilford Black and White films, and you might be wondering why Phoenix wasn't branded as Ilford. Well, sometime in the past the Ilford name was divided, and Harman only have the rights to use the name on black and white products. In fact, they already produce Kentmere Black and White film under the Harman brand, so it isn't too much of an issue that we don't see the name Ilford on a box of Phoenix film. There is a colour film produced by the Swiss Ilford brand, Ilfocolour 400 Vintage Tone. The shots I've seen from that film look a lot like one of the Innoviscope films, such as Wolf and NC500 or NC400, but I haven't tried any of that stock myself. I'll put a link in the description to my video looking at Wolf and NC500. Anyway, having got my 2 rolls, I was keen to try it out, so a couple of days later I put the first roll in my Cosina CSL camera, which I'd recently repaired. I'll do a video soon looking at the Cosina. It's a really compact SLR camera with an electronically controlled shutter and a good internal light meter, but it still uses all those lovely M42 screw mount lenses you've got lying around the place. I've also got its sibling, the CSM, and another one for spare parts, but that can all wait for a future video. Having had plenty of time to observe other people's shots using Phoenix, I opted to shoot it at 100 ISO rather than the box speed of 200 ISO. I knew I'd just be using it for general purpose photography while I was out and about, and the brighter images would suit me better. Other than that, I just metered and shot it as I would with any other film, half expecting the results to be a bit disappointing. So now my scans are back from the lab, we can take a look at a few of the shots, and then talk a bit more after that. So, initial impressions. It's nowhere near as wild and out of control as I expected. In fact, I really like the majority of the shots. It definitely lacks the dynamic range of some of the more common films. This street shot would be tricky at the best of times, but with Phoenix the highlights are very blown out and some of the shadow detail is lost. More so than if you were using one of the portrait films, but I think even those would struggle with this scene. The trade-off for that lack of dynamic range is very punchy and contrasty shots straight out of the box, and if you'd have offered me this film back in the days when film was the only option, I'd have loved the strong look to go in my photo album. The film does have quite a bit of grain, and I'm sure that it would have been more noticeable if I'd have shot the roll at box speed. I don't mind the grain too much. It seems softer than the grain on Orwo Wolf and NC500, although that probably isn't a fair comparison because I shot that roll of NC500 at its box speed of 400 ISO, and it would probably look better overexposed by one stop. Along with that soft grain is a general softness and lack of detail in all of the shots. It's not a bad look, but if you want to see every detail you might like other films more, or just shoot digital, or medium format. Anyway, time to look at a few more of the shots and then I'll talk some more. The film doesn't appear to suffer from major light piping issues. If we look at the first shot of the roll, which is only half a shot because I try to eke every bit I can from a roll, it has a fairly crisp edge where the film protruded from the film canister. The film was loaded in the light coming through a window, but not in direct sunlight itself. Something I'm not so keen on is the occasional wild halations that appear round bright points of light or reflections. It might look cool on the odd shot, but generally it's more of a distraction. The skyline on this shot looks like there's some sort of nuclear explosion taking place, which, as far as I remember, wasn't the case. How the shots are scanned will make a big difference to the results. The lab I use does DSLR scanning, and he's very careful to get each roll as good as it can be. I suspect that the results from some of the Noritsu and Fuji Frontier scanners might vary a little, particularly as it appears that the colour of the film base on Phoenix can change occasionally, depending on how much the chemicals had been used when the film was developed. I'm definitely going to carry on using Phoenix. This shot of an old wall looks like I've done loads of editing, but that's just how it came out. Imagine if I'd had a model to shoot in that location. You could get some really edgy album cover style shots. Hopefully when Harman release the final version of the film, they'll also make it in medium format. I can understand that while it's in its beta stage, they'll want to keep things as simple as possible and only produce the more popular 35mm rolls, but medium format would be really great. The next roll is already installed in my Nikon F501. I've got a project in mind for that roll, but I'm not sure exactly where that's going to take me, so it may be some time before you see any results. I think that more or less covers it. If you've enjoyed watching, please like the video and maybe even subscribe to the channel, not forgetting to click on the bell icon so you get notifications when future videos are released. That's it for now, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.